tell you how the tea runs. Yeah, he doesn't tell you that there will be stops.
Do you understand the formula? Do you understand the formula? Do you understand the formula? Formula. Do you understand the formula? Do you understand the formula? Do you understand the formula?
Hi guys. So we just finished our legendary pepper soup get together, and we want to talk to you guys about a few things, housing concerns that you guys might have, and we just feel that sharing our experience individually might be of use as you make a decision about where you want to stay eventually. So I guess maybe starting right.
Alright. Hi guys. So I'll be talking about Vanderbilt. That's where I stayed, and as most of you may know, it's a Harvard Medical School housing basically. So what are the benefits of staying in this place? It's close to school. It's like 5 minutes walk away from school, and so you can also be amongst mates. Like sometimes I remember I would have late night assignments, so I'll be stuck on assignments, and I would have people who were also classmates, one or two of them, who were staying in that place. So that was very helpful to me, particularly because I resumed school late, so I had a lot of catching up to do. Another thing that was good was, I mentioned proximity earlier, right? In the winter, you're going to appreciate it, especially if you're Nigerian or African, because you're not used to the cold, right? So that was another good thing. And yet another good thing still on proximity is transportation. I barely had to pay for my Charlie tickets more than $10 or $20, and that was because of other things that I was involved in, but not because I needed to get to school. So in that sense, it was cheap for me, right? Another good thing is just right out the door is a bus stop, and there's a free M2 shuttle that shuttles between school here, the Harvard School of Medical Public Health, and the main Harvard campus. So it was easy to go around with this free transportation. So I believe you're going to enjoy all of these things. Now, what are the demerits of staying here? It's a room, pretty small, but you have closets, right? You have a cupboard. Those are the things that you need. Those are your essentials. You have a table and a chair. You have a lot of those things, which I think are the things that you need most. And sometimes, believe it or not, being too comfortable may not be so helpful for your academics. I feel that's my, like I said, this is my opinion. Okay, so this is my thinking. I felt this is an important part, and Vanderbilt helped me to give my best, okay? You may feel differently, but that was one good thing. And then you have the room to yourself, right? So it's not a shared room, you have it just to yourself. Those are the things that I feel were very helpful. Now, I'd like to point out before I close that winter session or the fall session is a very important determining point in your academics here. Your grades there are fundamental to a lot of things that you do. If you have a good grade in your fall, that's fine. And I think that is heavily tied to where you stay. That's my opinion, guys.
Alright. Everyone, please put your hands together for her.
I actually think though that Big didn't talk about the disadvantages of staying here.
Okay, so it got caught, sorry. I think the disadvantage is the bedroom is shared, right? It's small and it's shared, the toilet is shared, kitchen is shared, right? And you have like an entire floor of just boys and girls rooms. So in that sense, I didn't like it because I had to live with other people and share bedroom. I didn't like that. But you have a janitor that cleans it. So in some ways, I think I also got comfortable in the end because I didn't really need to do any of those cleanings. Okay.
Yeah.
So
is that a bad thing though?
That's a good thing. But the bad thing is you have to share all of these things, right? You have to share your toilet, bedroom.
So
you
have to share your orange juice with people.
But that's a fridge.
So in addition to all of these things that they've said, I mean, we're recording this in Vanderbilt, just so you know. And all of the pepper soup gatherings, we've had like 4 so far. But it's a tradition we intend to pass on. But all of the times that we've met for birthday parties have been in Vanderbilt. I work out at the gym that's just at the basement. That's
Yeah,
very
there's a
convenient.
gym.
If
This is
you
absolute.
And the Zumba.
shut up. If you're somebody who is conscious about fitness, it's also very convenient.
Yes, because
So there's like
that's-
shared spaces that I think that are beneficial and that you can make use of. That being said, though, all of the guys here staying in Vanderbilt are also currently in a state where they're being kicked out. So the other part is when you graduate, you need to find an alternative immediately, and that might not be very convenient, as Bimpe will tell you, because now she needs to think about where to move to, whereas I don't have to think about where to move to immediately because I stay outside of Vanderbilt. I stay somewhere else. I know Obi stays in Cambridge, and I know your
so
experience.
about Cambridge, let me start with looking for where to move to. After school, they give you an option to extend your stay up until July. So you can stay in Cambridge up until the 1st
So
of
what do
July.
you mean by Cambridge when you say stay in Cambridge?
Okay, so I stay in a Harvard housing, which is 5 minutes from, well, not 5 minutes, maybe
What's
3
it
minutes
called?
from Harvard Square.
The main
Prescott Street, is on Prescott Street. So the whole area is owned by Harvard. It's very close to the main Harvard College, the school. And well, the area is really interesting, but I would start from the bad things and then go to the good things. Bad things is that you have to miss a lot of things. So any activities that is happening around school, you literally have to miss it. Otherwise, you get home at 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. And then, well, my house is really nice though. I really like my house. I'm sharing the house presently with somebody, but what we did was to cut costs because the houses there are really expensive. To cut costs, we just took a 1-bedroom apartment, but luckily the 1-bedroom had a wall dividing the whole house, so we just took half and half of the house, and both of us just paid half the price, and that's how we live. We have 1 bathroom to both of us and 1 kitchen. It's actually an apartment. It's a self-contained apartment. So yeah, it's like living on your own. It's pretty nice.
How did you find your roommate?
Well, so the roommate, I found my roommate on a Harvard housemate website. I referred somebody.
Which is also like the website that you are referred to if you apply to some of those houses.
Yes,
right?
yes, they refer you to it. Yes.
I can choose your.
So you can actually choose your roommate. Now you choose, but it's just a choice that you make, which is make or break.
Blind choice.
It's a very, very blind choice. So you might get somebody who is a natural disaster. You might get somebody who is an angel. So yeah, it's just by luck actually. No? What else are you going to talk about?
Okay,
So you've not talked about the wonderful things about staying in Cambridge because, for example, I also I've had to go to Cambridge 3 times a week this spring, which might also happen to you depending on what your practicum is or what you get involved in. So Cambridge is actually like the central part of Harvard. It's where the university is, where all of the fun is. It's where we've practically had like all of the parties and all of the other activities, where the rich Harvard history is. And there's always activities happening in Cambridge. Most of the time, most of the people who live in Longwood or anywhere around still have to go to Cambridge at some point. And the commute from Cambridge to Longwood is actually very convenient because there's an M2 shuttle that takes you from Cambridge and brings you to Longwood. And the M2 shuttle is free, by the way, by virtue of you being a Harvard student. Oh, it doesn't work on Sundays. I didn't know that. But basically, I mean, it's very convenient in that sense.
Alright, so let me talk. I have my own experience. Mine is a bittersweet experience because I lived very far away from school, and then I got into Bandy because I had to put myself together. So let me warn you. Now look at me. Listen properly. Don't ever stay far away from school because you're just gonna regret it.
How far is far?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, anything more than 30 minutes on a shuttle in your search for house, I think you want to take closeness on the scale of preference very high, priority. I mean, you may want to consider closeness, nearness to school over cost, because I was looking more at the money. And really, I ended up spending more
Pennywise.
than I bargained. Because, yeah, penny wise, pound foolish.
But you didn't bargain anything.
Yeah, I thought I would. Don't you ever?
Ayo, what's your experience?
So I wasn't thinking. Now let me tell you the truth. You think you're going to be paying $500 per month? Is it per month? Yeah, per month, for example. And you go to live far away, and you end up spending more because you have to pay for the shuttle, the buses, you know. So at the end of the month, you spend like bills, excessive bills. So at the end of the month, you're spending like $700, $750. So it's not cost effective. Yeah, I had to run into Vandy, and I'm quite cool here. So I had to run into Vandy, and so I've had a bitter and sweet experience. And I think Vandy is pretty cool. The only bad thing about Vandy is you have to move out when the time is due.
You think you should share how much you
So before we share how much you're paid, I just wanted to point out that Ayo is staying in Roxbury, which most people would have described to you as the ghetto. So I just want
Hey, I know it's taking
I just wanted Ayo to talk about his experience living in the in quotes. I will call you.
Oh well. Okay. Number one, I wasn't staying in the ghetto. Okay. My place is Roxbury, which is about.
Bury.
Oh, they say it's Roxbury. See? It's not burial. It's Roxbury. Okay. So it's actually a very nice place. Actually, not so far from here. About 25 minutes by bus. But if you're going to walk about 35 minutes, so you can imagine it's not really far. The advantage I had in getting that place was I knew fellow Nigerians here. We came here like 2 years before and we were living there. I stayed with them for like maybe I got here like 2 weeks before resumption, which I advise you guys to do too. Come here early so they can really settle down before school starts if you have that time. So they gave me I got a room because someone was living out, so I was lucky to get into the place, and it's quite cheap compared to other housing facilities, except you still have to pay for your facilities. Another advantage is you have Nigerians basically living together, or maybe people who like-minded people.
You're lucky
people.
to find them.
If you can find them, it's good to just have the same community living together. I mean, support and all. I know people get depressed here. I've never been depressed.
Yeah.
Okay. So any disadvantage, they might say it's the ghetto and stuff, but really it's not. The only problem I have is when I'm going home, the bus station is not really so pleasant. That's my only problem with the whole place on the way home.
But that bus, just to point out, that bus station, other people still use it. Even if you don't live in Roxbury, it's a central bus station. It's the Dudley stop. And I mean, if you're coming from anywhere from Dorchester, Jamaica Plain, Roxbury,
yeah, you still have to pass through.
You still have to go through Dudley station, so it's not peculiar to Roxbury. Yeah.
So that's my only stuff. So, but the truth is, it's not like you spend so much time there. You need like 5 minutes and you're out of the place, or less or more sometimes. But I actually think Roxbury is a good place to stay if you are lucky to have such an apartment. Yeah, I think it's a good place. So disadvantages.
Why do people call us the ghetto? Why do people say it's the ghetto?
Okay, I don't know why people say it's the ghetto, because that's not really the ghetto. The ghetto is Dorchester.
The black community.
The ghetto is Dorchester.
That is up for debate. The problem, the thing I think is worth recognizing.
It's not up for debate.
Is that the thing I think is worth recognizing, that what people refer to here as the ghetto is a place that is full of black people, so
or
it's
minority
population. So it's more of a connotation of the people that live within the area than say the safety of the area or the cleanliness of the area. Because I mean, I visited Ayo and there isn't a significant difference between where he lives and where I live, but I pay $300 more than he does, and there isn't any significant difference in the housing. Except, of course, that I live in a much nicer neighborhood. But
Now let me say my own. I've been to, before I came here, I heard Jamaica Plain, Mission Hill, where the good places to live in. In fact, it's on the Harvard website or something that get a house around Jamaica Plain, Mission Hill and stuff. I've never been to Jamaica Plain until last month when PH invited me to Jamaica Plain to his apartment. Now the truth is, when I got there to this neighborhood, I can tell you honestly, my neighborhood is way better. Okay? Now his house is way better. Like inside the house. Do you get? But my own neighborhood is actually better. So it depends on, and I went to Jamaica Plain today too. Okay? And I can still tell you my neighborhood is way, not even okay, just space. My neighborhood is way better. So it depends. Now the point is, it depends on what you want. Okay?
Okay, so
The house might not be that nice.
Can I just address
right?
it because they're good?
But
Both of them are going to
the
go on.
house is the environment is there's no.
I haven't talked about where I live.
All right, guys, you haven't talked about where you
I haven't talked about where I live.
I've been to your place and to his place, and I don't see why you're saying that your neighborhood is there. I think I don't. I mean, you may be right, but I think you need to explain more about that.
Okay.
What do you think? What are your
So before that happens,
Okay, well, yeah, actually preferences, right?
Yeah, preferences. So let me talk about a little bit about where I live. So I am the one. I stay in Jamaica Plain, which technically isn't very far away from school. I mean, I have a bike, so when I bike to school, it takes me about 15 minutes to bike to school. Super convenient, easy to do. Except, of course, that it snows in Boston, which ruins everything, and so proximity becomes important. I mean, I have very good facilities where I live. I mean, it's a nice house. I live with Nigerians. The house comes with extra amenities, but I like I was telling them before, the advantages of having like, you know, a dishwasher or like a microwave or, you know, some extra things. In exchange for staying close to school, I would rather stay closer to school in that sense. But the advantages my place had, for example, is that it was comfortable, it was convenient, I was happy to be home. But really, I didn't spend that much time at home. And it's also a neighborhood that is priced because it's safe for children. I don't have children. I don't know if you do. It's also a neighborhood that is priced because it has like very good and fancy restaurants. I didn't use a lot of those facilities. It was also overpriced because it has such a like a rich history, a rich culture. So they have like carnivals and festivals happening. I haven't like taken advantage of any of those. So the point is, it has advantages, but those aren't the advantages that were my priority at the time. Talk about, I don't know. I guess
the kitchen, not the bathroom, because nobody's ever there. I mean, nobody's ever there in the bathroom, but the kitchen, people. Okay, well, I don't want to say something. Most people usually go in the kitchen, and for me, I mean, it depends on how you are. I don't know. I'm not the kind of social person, so I don't want to be. I don't want people to be there when I'm trying to cook because I don't even know how to cook, so I feel uncomfortable. But if you're the kind of person who want to network, want to meet, interact with medical students and stuff, maybe it can be helpful for you to stay in Vandy. Like, I think the cost, the price in Vandy is really average. You can get less if you go to Hawkesbury, for example.
I would say, I think what we should work with is the average. And in Vandy, it is between 800 and 900
exactly
per month. So just work with that.
And you have the utilities.
Exactly, everything.
You don't clean. I mean, I'm sorry, but I usually don't clean my home. So I don't clean. Not people come and clean my home, but I don't have to go to clean the kitchen or anything. Yeah, and yeah, you have to pay something for the laundry. Like,
yeah, you pay like $1.50.
But everybody, even in houses where you see apartments that they tell you that it has laundry, my apartment has laundry, and you see it in housing adverts that they have laundry. You still have to put in the coin.
Coin of printed.
Nothing is free.
That's what's free.
This is America.
So for somebody like, so for somebody like me, I think Vandy was a good place. For the reason I want to summarize, the rent is okay, like it's average. It's close to school, so it's really convenient. Like you can get up at 7:30 or 8 and still get to class. So it's very convenient. You can study, you can stay at school for like till like I don't know
12, 1, 2, anytime.
Let me say one thing about my own thing.
So it's good, and but the costs are that you don't feel the real havoc, which is in Cambridge. So if you are the kind of person who usually
social,
like,
want to
experience
they want to go to Cambridge.
Which is not that bad because it's just 30 minutes. So it really depends on the type of person that you are. Yeah.
So I think you need to talk more about this Cambridge.
So in Cambridge, let me tell you how much I paid. So my house was the cheapest house on Harvard housing that was being offered. and I personally, right now I pay 980 every month. But I remember I told you it's shared, so both of us pay 2,000 about that, give or take, a month. So we just split it. We still pay for the laundry, like Kelechi said. It's an apartment, so you clean yourself. There's nothing like somebody's doing for you, but somebody cleans like outside the corridors and general cleaning. Someone cleans it for you. What else?
So what was your experience like living in Cambridge? Is it as exciting as we that live in Cambridge think?
Cambridge is actually exciting. So there's never a boring day in Cambridge. If you're tired of reading, you can just walk out of your house and something's happening. There's a fair going on, you can go to the college, they're showing movies, they're doing free this, free that. So this Harvard University, we walk until you see shopping, they'll show you something. They will give you assignment, give you assignment. So yeah,
no time.
We're going to take this out.
Why?
No, but she's still
Well, I did have. Obi and I were in Global Health together, and I would say that the social experience here at Harvard is also very. I feel like that is a huge component of what you take out of Harvard. So even though you need to work hard, of course, but the social aspect is very important, and I think Cambridge also. Living in Cambridge gives you a lot of access to all of those social activities. But even if you're doing QM, right, the fact that it's close makes it easier for you to get in compared to if you're living far away. But that being said, the cheapest option out of everything that we've said is probably Ariel's accommodation, which is away from Harvard House. So tell us, how much do you pay per month for it?
Okay, so per month my bill is $500.
Nice.
So he's the richest man
Convert
of
it to
us.
Nigerian money, that is 200,000 naira per month. In case you don't know.
You pay something extra like you.
So it's $500 per month, basic, but you still have to pay for utilities and all. So in total, let's say you pay $600
Plus the transportation
per month. That's excluding transportation, but in total, let's say the
So
house.
how much do you pay for? How much do you spend on transportation in a month?
Now, for transportation a month, I pay $25 because I use only a bus.
25 or 50?
25. That's because I get discounts from Brigham Hospital. I'm attached to Brigham, so I get discounts. So it's $25 per month for the bus pass.
But what is the bus pass without?
But without that, I think if you do with Harvard, I think it's like $40.
Oh yeah, the bus pass. If you just want
Harvard.
If you just want to have a bus pass, it's $40. But if you want to have a bus pass and a train pass, the metro as well, which you will need if you live far, and I advise you not to go that far, 75.
No, that's
it's 75. That's what I pay.
It's 75.
So I pay $810 a month, and my utilities come to between. It varies from like $30 to $100.
Why does it vary?
Because in the summer, of course, you have less utilities, so you don't need gas or
So
heating.
30.
These are things you don't need to worry about if you live in any of the Harvard houses, if you Cambridge or Vanderbilt or any of the other Harvard houses. You don't need to worry about the fluctuation in your utility bills. But if you live like Ayo and I outside of Harvard housing, it fluctuates. So I pay $810. I pay, and I live in the smallest room of a 3-bedroom apartment, and the whole apartment is about. I pay the least rent of the three of us, but I also spend about $100 a month on transportation because sometimes I use Uber.
No, that one you spend money on that one.
I use Uber because I don't.
We have talked about, and I don't know if everyone is done. Just kind of try to wrap it up. One of it, I'm going to talk about Craigslist. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the feud between Roxbury and Jamaica Plains. And I think that's basically two things I want to talk about. Between Jamaica and Plains and Roxbury and Dorchester, or anything that you've heard of, in my opinion, and I feel most people here, what we discussed this evening was there was really no major ghetto area. So if you're coming from Nigeria, your idea of ghetto is far from what they call ghetto here. So it's absolutely fine in any of these places. Moreover, Jamaica Plains was formerly ghetto, right? It was basically a black community. So what the government does is they review these places, put in some facilities, upgrade some areas, and so what is ghetto is no longer ghetto. I stayed in Jamaica Plains like in 2013, and it was a nice place. really nice neighborhood, but the house itself was very old because there's a lot of history and ancient things which you as a Nigerian you don't appreciate a whole house, but it's important to them. So all of those things didn't matter for me. All those things that were important to them. So I feel whether Jamaica Plains, whether Roxbury, whether Dorchester, the important thing is proximity to school for you. Once it's less than 30 minutes, you're good. Now, there are a lot of things that a lot of people who stay outside did not tell you. But in terms of proximity, even times when you're late for classes, you would not take the T because you're late, right? So you will take an Uber. Those are other additional expenses that you may not. So I think it's very important that you take that into consideration. Now, in terms of, I talked about the government upgrading some places. There's a place called East Boston, and the government's renovating it. So Roxbury, as we know it today, may change. Dorchester may change.
They call it gentrification.
Oh, that's the name, right? Gentrification. So basically, it's fine. Just be sure it's close. And how do you know when you get a place or you see something? Check it on Google Maps. How close is it by car? By car is the fastest way you can get there. If it's far already by car and the distance, and then using the T, so the Google Maps gives you option of whether you're going by road, whether you're trekking, whether you're taking the train, whether you're taking the cab, or whether you're biking, or whether you're walking, how long it will take you on all of these 4 options. So you need to check all of that and decide based on that. In the winter, the trains sometimes don't run regularly, so you need to consider that. And you're going to be staying in the cold for maybe 10 to 20 minutes waiting for the train. That's minus the transportation time, so factor that in. In fall, your lectures are back to back for almost everybody. You have lectures from 8:30 to 5 o'clock. Remember that. You cannot forget anything at home. Everything has to be with you. Talking about Craigslist, it's a very good place to find Harvard housing. Housing generally. But remember, there are a lot of fake people on Craigslist. So I've heard people get swindled. Someone, not even an African, was swindled for $1,500, $1,500. She never saw the place, and that was because she got the place before she came into school. So with Harvard, with Craig, make sure you have somebody on ground to help you look at the house and be sure that it's true. There's also Harvard grad markets. There's also Harvard grad markets where they have housing options. Those are also better. It's better, safer. But in the same way, we are African. These things happen, right? So be sharp.
We try to do this in a very natural and conversational way. This was not meant to be organized in any form at all. That's why you can see the jokes, the anecdotes. We want to be very real with you. So it's on purpose that this appears to be, unprofessional, because we just wanted to give you a natural feel of our true feelings. A few of you have tried to reach us to say these things in email, and sometimes it's hard to put these things in words. So we thought that this might be helpful. If you have any other questions or things you think maybe we should talk about in a forum like this, let us know, and we see if we can get everybody together and of course hear our opinion and experience. But if you wanted more in-country specific answers and you're not from Nigeria, I know here is from Cameroon. My name is South Africa. She's also very willing to come out. And then that's Kingsley right behind the camera, and I think Kingsley, you need to show your face.
Kingsley from Ghana.
So Kingsley is from Ghana.
He's a big boy. He's a chairman.
And there's people from all over.
He's a Ghanaian scholar.